Hello everybody, Tyrone the God 3 here, and welcome back to Pokemon Fanfic Fridays. Today we'll be doing the review of the fanfic episode I made up of Pokemon Universe. This episode is titled Episode 4. This episode is titled Shiny Eevee and Coda, the Poketographer. Now, also, I do apologize that this one's kind of late. The chaos that happened between yesterday and today has been more or less settled down, and by chaos I mean just real life stuff, dealing with school stuff. So, with that said, though, this is the episode of Pokemon Universe that I wrote. Episode 4, Shiny Eevee and Coda the Poketographer. This episode starts off with Trent and Luna arguing because what ends up happening, they end up getting lost like immediately when the episode starts. And Luna admits that she's not good at directions. She's a horrible navigator. The only reason she said she knew where town was to join Trent's travels. Like, she lied. But it's funny. And right before Trent gets on her case about it, they hear a loud yell. And when they hear the loud yell, they go in to see what's going on. We see a character, the character, I'm just going to go ahead and reveal his name now. We see that Coda, as well as his Magnemite, are caught in this web thanks to these Ariados that are deep in the woods. And they're caught in the Ariados web. And when they're caught in the Ariados web, Luna ends up calling out Cyndaquil, and Trent uses Hoothoot. And since they're fire and flying respectively, they were easily able to take care of the Ariados and get Coda down and rip him free from the silk from the string shot webs that he was caught up in, along with his Magnemite. So after that's all said and done, Coda introduces himself and states that he is a Pokemon photographer, or Poketographer for short. It's an easier way to combine the two. It's basically a person who takes pictures of Pokemon, kind of like Snap from the original Pokemon series. So when he introduces himself, and if you notice, his name is Coda for a reason. Coda's name, I'll reveal a lot of trivia later, but Coda then wants to thank Luna and Trent because they introduced themselves, and once they're all acquainted, Coda wants to thank Luna and Trent, and he also wants to explain why he was in the deep woods to begin with. So Coda takes them to his house. His house is in a town called Fuji Town. Once they make it to Fuji Town, they are introduced to Coda's mother, named Kana, and his father, named Nico. And once they're all introduced and acquainted, it's revealed that, the mother's really grateful for Trent and Luna's heroics towards Coda because they are used to Coda coming home all scarred up and battered and beat up from Pokemon attacking him constantly when he tries to go too far away from home and he goes deep into the woods like that. So they're actually really surprised that he made it out alive this time. They weren't planning on him getting attacked that much, but Trent and Luna thankfully came in on time to save him. So as a show of gratitude, they decide to go ahead and make dinner, and they invite them to eat dinner. But before all of that's said and done, it was actually funny. Nico, the father, sees Luna, and he's like, "Oh, my boy has finally brought home a girl," and Coda blushes, and Luna's just like, "Whoa, I just met him." So it's a nice little moment. And then while they're getting dinner prepared, Coda decides to go to the hospital in Fuji Town, and he's going there because his sister Sonia called and said, where are you at? Can you visit? So Coda goes to visit his sister at the hospital. Luna's a bit curious as to why Coda's going to the hospital for his little sister, so she decides to go ahead and tag along with Coda. She asks Trent does he want to go. Trent declines and says that he's going to go ahead and take a nap before dinner. So at this point, we make it to the hospital, and when we're at the hospital, we see that Sonia is introduced to Luna, and Luna decides to call out her Pokemon so that Sonia can play with them. She's a little girl. She loves, seeing cute little Pokemon. And then she also plays with Magnemite as well, because Magnemite actually has a moment where it's a little jealous that Sonia loves these new Pokemon more than Magnemite. But that's just because she hasn't gotten used to any new Pokemon. While she is playing with the Pokemon, Luna goes and asks Coda exactly why is Sonia in the hospital in the first place. And Coda then reveals that Sonya has had a sickness. She has, I want to say, a similar sickness to what Wally had, only Wally kind of cured his. Sonya's younger and she's a little girl, so she's been bedridden for as long as Coda can remember. And because of that, it's one of the reasons why Coda became a Poketographer, is that so he can take pictures of lots of Pokemon and send them to Sonya so that she can look at them. Sadly, Coda can't go outside of the town because he's not brave enough. He's a bit of a coward. But one of his dreams is to actually go out and take pictures of Pokemon all around the Gaeza region. At this point, Luna then understands exactly what he wants to do. He says that he wants to make a scrapbook of a bunch of Pokemon from all around the Gaeza region so that he can bring them back to Sonya so she can look at all the Pokemon that she can't see because she's bedridden. At this point, Luna suggests that she travels with her and Trent. And Coda then states that he'll slow them down, so he declines the offer. But he thinks about it really hard because Luna convinces him that it's a good way to travel, get a lot of pictures, and show them to Sonya so that you can complete the scrapbook. Once all of that's said and done, Luna then heads back to the house, and when she does, she wakes up Trent and tells him everything that Coda told her. Trent declines the offer of Coda traveling with him, but it's not because he's heartless. Trent just doesn't want everybody traveling with him. He never even agreed that Luna could travel with him. She's just tagging along. And Trent doesn't like the idea of a bunch of people traveling with him because he feels like he's being babied. After all that's said and done, the dinner's almost prepared, and they're saying it's getting kind of late. Coda should be back by now. Coda's father tells everybody that Coda called home and said that he was going to go ahead and take a picture of what he was trying to take a picture of in the woods in the first place. I forgot to reveal that part. The reason Coda was in the woods in the first place was because he wanted to take a picture of an Eevee, but not just any Eevee. This Eevee's a shiny Eevee. It's the whole reason why he wanted to go into the woods in the first place, to catch the picture of it. But since Coda's out going to the woods at night, the risk of him getting attacked by Ariados is a lot higher now because Ariados are nocturnal Pokemon. This freaks Luna out a bit, and Luna tells Trent that they have to go head to the woods in order to fight off the Ariados that are going to attack Coda because he's going into the woods at nighttime. Him and Magnemite are headed out there so that they can get the picture of the Eevee because Coda wants to go ahead and be brave for at least one time in his life and do it. They rush to the woods, and when they meet Coda, Coda hasn't been attacked. However, he is intrigued because he actually is getting a pretty good visual image of the shiny Eevee. Right before he's about to take the picture, however, a Spinarak ends up falling on top of Coda's head. Once it falls on Coda's head, he freaks out, hits Magnemite. Magnemite accidentally uses Flash, and that wakes the Ariados up. Once the Ariados are woken up, they all end up coming in to attack Trent, Luna, and Coda from all sides. At this point, Trent goes ahead and uses Pichu, while Luna goes ahead and uses Miss Drevis. And they end up fighting off against the Ariados. At first, things start to look good, but then they end up getting caught up in the string shot because there's way more Ariados to fight off this time. So Trent and Pichu, as well as Luna and Miss Drevis, are all caught up in the string shot, leaving Coda and Magnemite as the only ones to fight. Coda ends up stating that he doesn't have the courage to fight the Ariados and that he can't. He's too scared. So Trent and Luna plead with him, and then Coda finally locks down and decides to gain some courage, and he tells Magnemite to use Flash all around so that it can blind the so it can blind the Ariados for a temporary amount of time. Once that ends up being done, Coda's able to set Luna and Miss Drevis free from the string shot. Once they're free, Trent then flashes back to the moment when he fought the Gible in the last episode, and takes Luna's advice that Pokemon can use attacks that don't do damage, but even non-damaging attacks can be effective. Trent realizes this and tells Pichu to use Thunder Wave. The thing about Thunder Wave is that Thunder Wave is so weak in terms of power, in terms of electrical power, it doesn't hurt Pichu when he uses it. So Pichu can use Thunder Wave without it hurting itself due to recoil electricity. So because of that, and since Pichu is tied up, it can still use electric attacks though. So it uses Thunder Wave and paralyzes one of the Ariados that was headed in to attack them. And that was just in time because Luna ends up using Cyndaquil. Once she calls out Cyndaquil, Cyndaquil uses Ember, and Trent and Pichu are free. Eevee is about to get attacked, however, by a bunch of Ariados. So Trent and Pichu, since they're the closest to Eevee, Trent tells Pichu to use Thunder Wave to immobilize them, and then Trent gets both Eevee and Pichu out of there and runs before it's too late. The Ariados start closing in on them even more, and Koda thinks of a plan. He tells everybody to close their eyes, and then has Magnemite use the flash attack while he uses the flash on his camera. And in combination, this makes what I call double flash or super flash. Once they do the super flash attack, it blinds them for a really long time, and Trent and Luna are able to battle their way out of there. Koda, Trent, and Luna successfully make it out of the woods. Once they make it out of the woods, Trent puts Eevee down and tries to place Eevee in a different area so it won't head towards the woods where it'll get attacked again. However, Eevee is so touched by Trent's heroics, Eevee winds up not going anywhere. In fact, it just comes straight back to Trent's leg and starts snuggling it. At this point, Luna tries to get close to Eevee as well, but Eevee just sort of ignores Luna. Yeah, it just walks away. So Koda reveals that the Eevee only likes Trent because of Trent saving her. Oh, this Eevee's a girl, by the way. So because of all that said and done, Luna gets a little jealous, but it's funny. And then Trent makes the suggestion to Eevee that he goes ahead and catches Eevee, and Eevee happily agrees. Then Trent throws the Pokeball, successfully capturing Eevee, making his third Pokemon. So now Trent has Eevee. And then Trent goes ahead and tells Koda, hey, we can go ahead and show Eevee to your little sister, because Trent has been told all the information about Sonia thanks to Luna from before. And Luna's actually impressed by Trent because he shows to have a heart. It's a really nice moment for Trent. It's a really pretty nice moment for Trent to make that suggestion that we can just bring the Eevee in person, because, she's a little girl. She's going to love seeing Eevee, and she's going to love seeing a shiny Eevee of all things. So they all head back to town, and then they eat dinner. The next morning, they go in and they head to the hospital, and Sonia's just freaking out, having a really kawaii moment with the shiny Eevee. And after all that's said and done, Koda makes the decision that he's going to go ahead and travel the Gaeza region and take pictures in order to fill in the scrapbook. When he tells his little sister this, she starts to cry, but she is like, you don't have to do that for me. You're going to be a great Poketographer anyway, so do it for yourself. He still wants to do it for her, though, so he sets out a map, and he's setting up to get ready to go. Trent then makes the suggestion that Koda travels with him along with Luna, and Luna's like, oh, you have a change of heart with Koda traveling with us now? And then Trent rebuttals by stating that at least Koda knows his directions. And the reason he states is because he asked Koda, does he know the directions of the Gaeza region? Koda states that since he's a Poketographer, since it's his job to take pictures of Pokemon, he's made it a habit to read maps and learn locations and stuff. So he is a natural-born navigator. So because of this, Trent happily offers him the ability to travel with them. After that's all said and done, his parents give him everything he needs, and Koda's off. Once Koda's off, his father and mother wish him good luck. Magnemite comes with Koda, so Magnemite's on Koda's team. And when that's all said and done, Koda sets up, says goodbye to them one last time, and then Luna and Trent run off, and Koda just is like, hey, wait up, guys, and he runs in to chase after them, and the episode ends. And with that, our heroes are finally set. We finally have all three of our heroes, Trent, Luna, and Koda, as they travel the Gaeza region together. They will be the traveling heroes that will encounter Pokemon, trainers, all sorts of crazy crap. And I gotta say, I really liked making this episode. I had to be cautious when making this episode because Koda is the second male traveling companion. If you haven't already seen it, I made a video talking about second male traveling companions where I was talking about Cylon. So check that out if you haven't. It's on my channel. I'll probably send a link in the description or in annotation. So I was scared when I had to make a second traveling companion. I knew I had to make one, and it was only a matter of time before I was going to make one. So I had to be really cautious of what exactly was his job going to be. I didn't want him to just be he cooks or he navigates. He's a navigator, but I gave him a purpose. His job is to fill up the scrapbook with tons of pictures of different Pokemon and then send it back to his bedridden sick sister, Sonia. I feel that's a really great purpose for Koda. It gives him more of an initiative to travel the journey. Now, I'm not going to lie. Koda is the comic relief of this entire group. He's the one that'll get attacked by Pokemon. He's the one that's going to wind up with all this slapstick comedy. He's the one with the very bad luck. Koda is essentially going to be the Clement of this gang, if that makes any sense. And the reason I wanted to do that was obviously I would love to make a group of 3, and Koda drew a little bit of inspiration from me as well. The creation of Koda took place way back in high school when I was the school photographer for my school. So I wanted to rub a little bit of that off in this fan fiction. And because of that, that's where the character Koda came from. Now, his name, Koda, if any of you all haven't already caught it, it's a play on the word Kodak, a famous camera company. His family and the town that he's from actually follow the same trend. Fuji Town is based off the name Fuji Films, another camera company. His little sister Sonia is based off the base company Sony, which they've made cameras before too. Then we've got Kana. It's pronounced either way. I haven't really thought of a permanent way to pronounce it yet. But Canon, cameras. And Nico is Nikon, another camera. So I thought that was a pretty good attention to detail. I thought long and hard about it. And there is another character I'm going to introduce later that follows that same trend. But he's not related to Koda. I just follow the trend. So with that said, I felt after making this episode, I was really satisfied. I was way more satisfied than initially when writing the episode, because I like the fact that I gave Koda, the comic relief character, such a great purpose. And essentially, he's also gaining courage during this journey too, which leads for some great character development, because not only is he gaining courage, he's also becoming a great Pokemon photographer or Poketographer. And he's doing it for somebody. He's doing it all so that he can show his sister his journeys across the Gaeza region. Something he never thought he would be able to do. But now that he's traveling with 2 friends, he'll finally be able to see the world outside of Fuji Town. So I was really excited when I put Koda in the group. I thought it was a great choice. As far as his Pokemon, as of right now, it's Magnemite. I couldn't think of it. I really panicked and couldn't think of a Pokemon that was best suited for a photographer to have, so I just picked Magnemite off the top of my head. But overall, I really enjoy Koda's character. He's really come to become a liking to me, and him combined with Luna and Trent, they make for a pretty good trio, I think. I think this will be a pretty good trio. I don't know what you guys think, but every time, I'm all the way on episode 36 right now in terms of writing. At the time of this video. So I think they've become a really cool team as of now. Like, they all measure each other out. All of their personalities work well with each other. And there's a lot of things to go and that our heroes encounter, and a lot of things that the gang undergoes that makes their relationship as traveling companions even greater. So yeah, I really enjoyed making this episode. As for giving Trent the shiny Eevee, I wanted to give Trent a shiny Pokemon, panicked, couldn't think of one, and then I wound up saying, screw it, everyone loves Eevee, it looks adorable, let's give him an Eevee, but let's make it shiny to give it a reason for why Koda wanted to take a picture of it in the first place, because who doesn't want to take a picture of a shiny Pokemon? That's just great. So yeah, through all of this, not only did Trent get development by catching a shiny Pokemon, but Coda ends up getting development because this is his debut episode. But with that said, the next episode is Fake Gym, a battle against the gambler. I'll see you all then, everybody. Tyrone the God 3, out.